10 tips and tricks for the Guild 3 players, here as a guest at Writing Bull, recorded on Twitch. Heinrich Meyer, producer of the game at THQ Nordic. Heinrich, you've come up with 10 tips and tricks and we'll try to show them quickly within a save game. My Let's Play playlist for the Let's Play is also linked below in the YouTube description. I'll also show it at the end. It all starts with our residence, our house, which we begin with initially outside the city. There are certain things we can do there.
Heinrich, that's right. First of all, you can of course produce a few products in your own building. These won't be sold on the market, so they're not for sale. But you use them personally. For example, the washcloth or the bouquet of flowers can help with advertising. But some actions can also be carried out there, and in this case they're automated. For example, praising yourself, or you can tell the children go outside and play. But for that you have to hire your people in the residential home, not in the company, so that they are assigned to him. Now you can do that quite well.
A click on the plus sign, then you can see which employees are hired and whether more are needed. So hiring workers here means assigning family members. This is the manual production line and this is the automated one. We have put in recurring tasks and people start on the left and then work their way straight through to the right. Second tip, Heinrich. Later it's also about having children. We've already had a few children and it's not that easy. First we need a spouse. And to win them over you mainly need a good reputation, high charisma and things like that. It actually doesn't help to be a wimp, but it does help to own washcloths.
Yes, especially at the beginning of the courting process, it's definitely advisable to wash yourself first. For that, you make this washcloth yourself, boosting your charisma, and if you also bring a bouquet of flowers from your home and actually give it as a gift, then that's a very good start for the whole courting process. Later in the process, it's important to observe the person you're courting a little bit. She actually shows a little heart symbol in her status bar when you click on the character if she has certain preferences. And if you stick to that, then what you do will have a greater effect. For example, if she wants a gift, then a bouquet of flowers or a poem is quite good. Less so, but if you blow her a kiss or give her a compliment, there are all kinds of preferences.
That's the charisma value, you can find it here, and sometimes some things like washing yourself, for example, or practicing charisma in front of the mirror. That's also a task you can do in the residence. For a few minutes in front of the mirror, you can temporarily increase your charisma value. That means quickly washing yourself beforehand, practicing charisma, talking to yourself in the mirror, and then quickly running over to your beloved and courting them, and after that you can't do it anymore. After you've hooked someone, you can stop washing and using charisma. All of that is necessary beforehand, that's one thing, and courting someone here is done through the heart symbol for romances and affairs. And the developers suggest working your way from left to right. Most of the time, the right order is to first choose someone for a romance. It can't be your wife, so just some strangers. Then a menu pops up and you can see who is available. If yes, that person is of a similar social status as yourself. In my experience, Heinrich, it's easier that way than if you pick someone who looks down on you.
For example, at that moment, I personally don't use that list, but I always choose my target directly in the world. You can do that after all.
Yes, in the game, not real life. We don't want to create a welcome center in the world. Now let's take a look. Another one. Third tip, this is about the where, about the work itself. Let's go straight over to one of our workplaces. That's this herb hut up here, the herb hut, fairy dust and nymphs dance. And now it's about how we can use our workers most efficiently.
Heinrich, exactly. Please open the production menu.
Click on the house once, then at the bottom on IWI info. Now we're in at the top, the production tab.
Exactly right. No matter how you set it, whether it's continuous production or automated production, you always have the option to assign certain products or in other cases tasks directly to the workers themselves. Right where we see the products being produced at this moment, we simply bring something else in. Then it counts as manually assigned and their productivity is improved. Because we gave him a personal instruction.
So this here is the manual production of NIL. It's the repetitive production.
Exactly right. These are the settings for the operation, how it should generally work. And independently of that, can you drag items or actions from the left half of the production menu into these worker slots?
Down here, so you drag it in with the left mouse button and then put it in here, and let's say then it appears here in a task window next to the person's portrait.
Exactly. And now she has received a small bonus. Exactly, she will now carry out this thing, regardless of the operation's settings. We did this so that if we notice that the prices for swords have just skyrocketed, I urgently need a few long swords. But my automatic production just doesn't want to produce them, then I can produce them myself this way.
Okay, and I remove it again by clicking on cancel work, resume work, and now I think it's back to normal.
She's going to sleep now because it's late.
You can be a lazy slacker sometimes. Next tip, we can also stay here in this business. There are also services you can do here.
Heinrich, exactly right. The service provided by this business is treating sick people, and the sick are treated by the employees. When they are at the business and not out picking herbs somewhere in the herb grove, and if someone wants to be treated, they drop their work, go to the patient, treat them, and get money for it. They even get experience points. And if you also have the required items in storage, for treating the sick, that would be the bandage.
Herbal tea, fever syrup, painkillers, miracle cure, and things like that.
Those things depend exactly on which illness it is. If you have those in stock, they are automatically used during treatment. And you also get more money and a small reputation bonus.
Here you can also set how many of your employees at most should take care of things here, and the others will handle production. If you want to keep people, especially in your business's neighborhood, satisfied with you, then you shouldn't set this maximum number of workers too low so people don't come by, have to wait in line, and eventually don't get served at all. What is Gardem Butara?
Exactly. If you don't want to select any, you can remove the check mark. So if you don't want to treat any patients, just remove it. For example, if a facility is supposed to only produce, that's possible too, of course.
Next tip, sales warehouse. That's the third tab here, also included in these buildings. And it's mainly about how well you're liked locally, because depending on which district you're in and how satisfied the people are, you can achieve completely different prices.
Heinrich, exactly right. The sales warehouse is an outdoor area separated from our regular warehouse where people can shop. What is there can be bought. You can also set the price yourself a little bit. You shouldn't set it too high because that's not appreciated, but it's possible. If people really like you and you're the only one who has an herb hut anyway, then they'll buy even at inflated prices. Of course, people are attracted by the reputation in the district or the village, the dynasty, the owning dynasty. Then there's the factor of customer satisfaction. It can be increased through building upgrades, but also through some artifacts that exist in the game, which can be applied to the building, but of course it can also be decreased. It's also possible to sabotage someone at that moment. And also the price that is set, that means we're now, I think, at 95%.
If I understand that correctly, yes.
Then if your neighbor has exactly the same customer satisfaction, exactly the same reputation, but the normal price, the chance they'll buy herbal tea from you is slightly higher.
Next tip, next for starting a game. If you don't have that many employees yet, but you want the shop to run smoothly, one strategy can be to assign your family members the task of helping out in the business. Alternatively, the main task at the beginning is, of course, first to have children, build a dynasty, find a spouse, wash yourself, provide washcloths, attract charismatic people, have children, throw away the washcloths, stop washing yourself, then have employees in the businesses get dirty, and then not clean up afterwards. That's certainly the most efficient way to do it. And when people help out, again, it works a bit differently than with the other actual employees you've hired. Because Heinrich can't assign tasks to family members automatically.
Yes, unfortunately, those are two different topics. Of course, you can employ your family members in a business. They are usually more productive and they don't need to sleep, which means they work through the whole night without complaining, while regular employees go to bed. That's the advantage of family members. The tip I want to give is that every family member, every adult family member, can also carry out certain tasks that a business has without having to be employed. Of course, this only makes sense if it's a thieves' guild or entertainers. They have actions like performing music or pickpocketing, and family members can do those too, without being employed. But in that case, you can't automate them. That means if I have acquired the pickpocketing skill, then my family members can also pickpocket, but I can't automate them.
One option, for example, could be if you notice that you have a bottleneck and you don't want that. A certain product is missing and you have a lot of another product produced. The warehouse is completely full, the foreman is off somewhere else. These are the kinds of situations where a family member can step in and say something, "I'll take the surplus to the next market myself. Maybe while I'm there, I'll even buy myself some cool item. That way, I can increase my own stats and then head back and I've already spent the money right away, right? I somehow need some kind of raw material for the business, and for some reason it just never gets delivered properly, but there's a source of raw material right around the corner. An employee can run over there, a family member can run over there and get it done quickly. But basically everything they do gives you experience points. But sometimes you might not really know what to do next. Heinrich, next tip on what you should do with them, especially with children or maybe with others, just send them home.
Exactly. If you send the family members you don't need right now, or want to keep safe because otherwise they might get killed by an enemy outside, to the residence. Then after a certain amount of time, they start living family life, so they drink, cook something to eat, clean the house, and also go to sleep. At higher residence levels, they also go into the bathtub or something similar, and that's how they gain experience points as well.
At the bottom left, when you click on a character or a building, there's always a row of buttons. If you send them home, they run home. You heard it, main. As a game progresses especially, the situation can sometimes become threatening. Because you don't just make friends, you also make enemies. If you get the impression, oh my god, I'd rather get them to safety now, but they should still send something useful, send them home and they'll still produce experience points that way. Speaking of the game always going on, next tip, at some point the family keeps getting bigger and bigger. Heinrich, but it can't get infinitely big because that's something you can easily overlook at the beginning. In the family tree, something is shown at the top. You can only have up to 20 family members.
So that's not a strict limit. There are ways to have 21, 22, or in some cases even a few more. But what it means when you go over 20 is that you can't have any more children of your own. That means you should get rid of the unwanted family members, the ones you don't really need or who are just too much trouble because they have bad stats or bad birth traits. There are those too, so make sure you get rid of them. Either send them on a dangerous trade journey or have them participate in a guild event, maybe even send them to war. We have wars in our game too, right? But if none of that helps and you maybe need to get rid of someone quickly, then don't send him to a church, let him talk to the priest and enter a monastery, then he's out of the game.
We want to clarify we're discussing the Guild 3 game right now, not real life. Because in the game, you get rid of unwanted family members because their stats are too low or they weren't strong enough at birth. Of course, these are things that only apply to the game. We would never do that in real life, I swear. Next tip, over time, we keep leveling up and advancing our careers. Can we also earn titles? That's what you can see up here in the talent book. These are the titles here. And you can also acquire certain offices over time. That happens when there are announcements for offices. You can see the office tree on the left in the city book, and sometimes positions become available there, and if you have certain ranks from citizen and up, then you can take offices there. All of that costs a lot of resources, gold, and I think sometimes also influence points. Holy, also the second resource. Maybe something can be saved there.
Yes, that's possible too. As in the previous guild games, enter the town hall of the city, where there is a town hall scribe sitting in the hallway.
How do I find that the fastest?
It's near the cathedral, directly across from the cathedral.
It's not the castle.
No, a bit further to the right and back.
Right and back. Patrizia, houses, taverns, town hall, there it is. Yeah, so in the real Cologne, I come from Cologne, the town hall is about here, where the autumn trees are, town hall.
So do you see the possibility there? No, that's definitely there in the timeline. I went through your maps. You have the possibility, you have the maps.
Build them? Yeah, oh cool, really, actually.
I built them, I actually built all the maps, right?
No, that's it.
During the Golem Labs days, they built on my basic framework, and now after Golem Labs, I rebuilt all of them again. And yes, I'm basically the one who created all the maps. Cool. If you go down to the action bar at the bottom of the building, you can look inside the building, but you can also make it easier by just pressing the OK. The action bar is below the eye.
Open the building menu and then view the building. Now I'm inside the building.
Exactly, now you're inside the building.
And now I'm in the right place, right?
Exactly, please close that. And there you see a town hall scribe sitting. You can talk to him. Yes, when you select your character, then you can talk to him. You can also bribe him and things like that. And later on, he'll become even more important in politics. And inside the building itself, of course, you'll find a lot more. But what this is about is if you buy a title from him, I don't necessarily want to say right now. But in the end, it really is buying, and it's cheaper than if you just do it through the menu.
But he really has to be there in person. Our character, I mean, he can't do it by telepathy from another part of the city. You have to stand next to him, talk to him, and then try to make a deal with him. And there are also many other things you can discover here, including people you can have a chat with.
At night, Montana's quiet, not much happens, but during the day, there's a lot going on here.
Last point, one last tip from you. It's about dynasties and alliances. When you go up to the Book of Dynasties, you can see the competition. We're in the top left, 3 other dynasties are listed. And taking out other families or other dynasties all by yourself can be difficult. The best friend you can have is actually the enemy, If you have common enemies you can join forces against.
Exactly. In our game, we have the option to form alliances. That means when this favor bar we see here has reached its maximum or is close to the maximum, then you can offer them an alliance and they usually accept it. An alliance is, first of all, they won't do anything bad to you anymore. And what about you? So, for example, if they are officials and there's an election and you are running in that election, then they are also more likely to choose you. Otherwise, you can also look into their place of residence, and you also have the opportunity to do some nicer things with them. Of course, they generally treat you more nicely as well. The opposite is disfavor. Disfavor is when you are completely in the negative favor range and someone is already targeting you anyway, then that's what happens. As soon as you are in a feud with another dynasty, you can expect them to throw bombs, attack you, and similar things. So a feud is a real blood feud. It is fought with all means, not just with violence, but also through political measures, for example.
By then, you should definitely have a few bodyguards. Henchmen or mercenaries, you can't get those at the beginning, you have to work your way up a bit first. In the talent book, so move up, gradually unlock titles. With every new title you acquire, you also get more options available to you in the game. Yes. That's it, I think we've covered the most important things now. And many thanks to Heinrich for that. Tips and tricks on YouTube. We're recording this for my fine YouTube channel. You can find all kinds of information below in the text description, for example, where you can buy the game, maybe even buy it cheaper. You'll find playlists there. I'll show you a Let's Play of the Guild 3 via playlist, and maybe that helped a little. Thanks to Heinrich.
You're welcome.